Hey guys, I bought a X-Force collected edition. It's mostly Rob Liefeld, and then there's a few issues done by other artists, Greg Capullo and Todd McFarlane being a couple of them. Yeah. All right. I had a few issues of these when I was younger, but I never got to read them all in order. So when I had a chance to get this at the LCS, I took it. I still need to get the New Mutants in a row, where Rob Liefeld took over. But I was checking out the poses, and yeah, they're like really cool. Like this dude has seems to be like his bread and butter is dynamic posing, and I like how he draws like faces like when they're screaming, which yeah, that seems to be pretty common. But anyway, I was just gonna look through these and pick a pose that I thought was pretty cool. And I know I had a few that I wanted to do, but I can't quite find them. I guess that one looks kind of cool. We'll do that one. Or I'll do that one, I guess. If you want to follow along, that'd be pretty cool. But otherwise, you just watch me. And I didn't always do this either. Like I did this a lot when I was a little kid. But Todd McFarlane, I remember him saying like in a lot of his interviews, he would do this. He would like draw, like he would concentrate on like arms or something at first, and then hands, and then he would like cover up the drawing and do it from memory. And he would just do that like over and over. I thought that was kind of cool, but I never really thought to do it. And then I heard when I was talking to Angel Medina, he said the same thing. And then I read Frank Cho said something similar in back of one of his Liberty Meadow comics. But he was talking about anatomy books. And I was like, I don't really need to do that, I don't think. It wasn't until David Finch started his channel and he was saying that's how he did it, and then he started doing some live streams where he would do exactly that. Like he would draw the picture. Like if you go on his channel, I think he did it with Frank Frazetta and Joe Quesada and Travis Charest. I joined in on that Travis Charest one, and I don't know, yeah, that's when I really noticed like was I wasting my time trying to learn to draw when I could just do it this way? Because it felt like I was learning a lot more doing exactly that. It sounds so simple, it's just, you know, actually doing it. So I've been doing that quite a bit, and I wanted to do some Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane and other artists, because like I don't know, I don't see too many people doing like these crazy poses where you know, like there's a lot of overlap. Like his arm is overlapping, and then this hand is like turning, and I suppose the fingers, if you could like get them to be more like bending. But anyway, the pose, like the torso is leaning over the legs here, and then we got the arm, it goes back into space, and then it comes back forward, and I don't know, yeah, it's just really fun to look at. And that's, I would say like 80% of the reason why I got into comics, interested in comics was because the art and artists like Liefeld. The other 20% is eventually I would read the story after checking out the art, flipping through the pages. I elongated that hand too much. Whatever. And yeah, then it would be a story, and but that's the story wouldn't quite stop me from buying the comic if I thought the art was like pretty killer. Well, she's got a really pointy ear. Can't really see the face too much on this. You might be able to hear my dog. She's not too far from my desk here. She's snoring pretty loud. And you might hear a lot of traffic. I live not too far from a very busy street. That's funny, this chick has some pretty mean sideburns. Well, anyway, this is really the pose, and I like these gloves because, yeah, they seem to, I don't know, add some extra, like, I don't know, something more extra, like, exciting to look at, even though it's not, like, you know, terribly exciting or nothing. It's just more visual interest to me. Let's see, one more thing I might move this head over a little bit, like right there, just to, because I don't know if I'll draw her hair on the, I'm gonna do a redraw here. Okay, then we cover it up and try to do the redraw. So I'll go on this page. These pages are kind of thick, and I like to use my sketchbooks as much as I can, especially this one. It's more of a, I think it cost me like $20 plus shipping. I don't buy expensive sketchbooks. I just did because I was watching a live stream of this one artist, and I was curious what kind of paper he was using. He told me it was Royal Talons, I think it's called. Yeah, I don't know, can you read that? Talons? Yeah, I believe it's Royal Talons, Talens. I mean, it's cool, but like, I don't see myself buying this very often. The local comic shops have sales every once in a while on their Strathmore, and I forget the other major brand, Canson, I think. Yeah, Canson. They do that pretty often. I remember, yeah, he covered up the crotch completely, but I don't know if I want to copy that exactly. Maybe. Yeah, I guess that, sure. All right, and then the leg was slightly, okay, so I kind of already forgot some of the pose, but I'm not gonna go back and look at the book. I want to try to pull as much out of this as I can. Oh yeah, so anyway, yeah, that's why I want to use as much of this sketchbook as I can. that's why I'm drawing on both sides of the paper. And it's pretty thick. I think this one was tilted, if I remember correctly. And then the hand came up pointing at us. I know these fingers look pretty terrible right now. I just want to do the quick over shot. Would that, okay, so I don't know if this arm right here will be a tangent in this leg. I don't think so. If I pull it back a little bit more. No, then it'll be parallel too much. Okay, I'll turn it more into this way. Yeah, just recently I started paying a lot more attention into making things tangents. I was watching Todd McFarlane doing some portfolio reviews on the Odd Key YouTube channel, which is, man, that's like super informative because he like talks, he breaks it down like, I don't know, like a scientist really, of like things and why they look visually appealing. And he was saying like, watch out for tangents. Like if I had her arm, like I don't know, say somehow there was a person behind her, their arm would be like, if their arm was back here and their shoulder right here, but their forearm would line up like right here against her leg. Oh, it's a crappy hand. But like that part right there would be the tangent, where it's like, why would you put an arm there? Because that just confuses the eye for a second. I don't know, a small short circuit, I guess, when you're looking at the drawing. So anyway, that's what I was kind of worried about her arm doing when it followed the same path as that leg. And I didn't really notice that like until just, yeah, like I said, just recently. I knew about tangents. I would do my best to not do them. But when he was doing those portfolio reviews, he was like seeing them everywhere. So you gotta be, well, I gotta be twice as diligent, I guess, to not do them. Yeah, I'm not gonna do her little shoulder pads because I don't want to do them. I guess I'll do this little like fur parts he had on the ends of the joints. Okay, yeah, I forgot this. Okay, this arm was coming back at us, I believe. So yeah, it goes away, then it comes back towards us. So like it would be, I'm not, yeah, for drawing hands, I like drawing hands, but they're complex. Like, I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I get like that mental library of like, oh yeah, this is where the hand goes right here exactly, and then just draw it the first try. Like I tend to do this, where I draw something, I look at it, I don't exactly like it, and then I'll erase it and adjust. So that would be her pinky, then her ring, claw, I guess, be like that. And then the bottom of her, maybe I'll just get a different eraser. Hang on. All right, this one's a little bit thinner and could take off more pencil, graphite, lead, whatever. All right, whatever, that's good enough for now. Okay, shoulder. I'll just make this like a tank top. And I said I wanted to push the head to this way just a little bit. So then I'll make the neck go the opposite direction. That's just also something new I'm trying to accentuate, is pushing the head over a little bit on dynamic poses. What I try to make dynamic poses anyway. That's one of the things McFarlane was talking about, was like, he was saying he calls like symmetrical drawings and drawings that are like perfect muscles and stuff. Okay, so symmetrical drawings, and then like really well drawn muscles, polite drawings. Not just well drawn muscles, but like when you draw each muscle, like when you go in and if you're doing the shoulder, you know, you draw all three of the delt heads, and then the bicep and that brachialis thing, and then the tricep, and you're going in and you're making them all look really nice and shining them up. He calls those like polite drawings. And then then the symmetrical, like if the heads are always looking at you and you know, draw them perfect on each side. So and then he started pointing out like moving the neck, the head over, you know, and make the neck slightly visible. And yeah, he was basically just describing a dynamic page, piece by piece, like why it looks aesthetically pleasing or interesting to the eye. And yeah, it was like slowly blowing my mind. Like, oh, okay, so now I'll just try to apply those tools. I mean, cause yeah, it's like one thing, you know, you hearing it. Just like when I heard like years ago Todd McFarlane talk about how he learned to draw, you know, draw something, cover up the page, redraw it, and then try to pull out as much as you can to learn from it. Like I heard that like I said years ago, but I just kind of thought like, well, I could just look at the picture and I'm sure I'll make mental notes of it. But yeah, then it comes, that's what I thought anyway. But, and I think I was learning how, to draw a little bit better from doing that. And I'm not saying everyone has to do it, people learn differently. But when I was following along with the David Finch and all of us drawing the same picture and cover it up and redraw it, I noticed like an improvement like immediately. So it's one thing knowing it, saying it, and then it's a whole nother thing actually doing it. For me anyway, like I don't know how everyone else learns. Just draw a little extra fur on the outer parts there. Try to smooth that out. I don't remember if he had much definition for her leg muscles. Those like slightly indicate that there's some quads right here. And then she wasn't wearing boots, I know that, because I remember she had like claw toes also. When I was thinking of doing this video, I thought I could probably do like 3, maybe 4 poses real quick, but yeah, I'm noticing that this is taking me a little bit longer than what I thought how fast I thought I would be in my head. So I'll just probably do this one. Oh man. So toes also, okay, I at least like drawing hands. So when those give me a little bit of trouble, I don't mind working through them. But feet, I can't say I exactly like drawing feet, and I'm not the best at that either. So I'll just kind of like muscle through it, I guess. I mean, I know that's not the best foot, but to me it's passable for now. And then she was on like a tree. I don't think I'll draw the tree. I'll just going on the face here of her head looks a little long. Oh yeah, and also like this is, I don't know how everyone else has their cameras set up, but I'm using my phone, and there's like this arm, this metal arm I got that could like hold onto the phone. Maybe I'll shorten the head up here. Yeah, and this metal arm is right in front of my face, so I'm already drawing at a different angle. I can't quite see some of the mistakes I think I would normally catch. Because I'm sure if I go back and watch this video or take a picture of the drawing and then flip it on the editing tools, like I'll probably notice all kinds of things that everyone that's watching could see already. But the main thing for me is like just to build that mental library of poses like that, like looking at it from, I guess, from this perspective right here where I'm at. I do like the visual interest. Was she hollering? I think she was hollering. Okay, so I don't remember how I drew that mouth or how he had it drawn. But if I'm thinking of Rob Liefeld, I'm always thinking of like someone screaming. And then if that's happening, then her nostrils are gonna be flared. This pencil I'm using is a 0.9. So probably not the best pencil to do details like this. So I'm trying to tilt or spin the pencil, to get an edge where I could do a little bit of detail on. And yeah, I'm trying to make those lines in the nose, like when you make a scream face, you can kind of like see some lines start to gather almost parallel on the nose. Yeah, whatever, I'll just go right to the eyebrow here and then crook those to make it look more believable that she's screaming or angry. I don't remember. I think that part of the comic was when she was training with Warpath and Cannonball and whoever else. So I don't even think that was a fight scene. It was like a training scene, and then she like, if it's that one, it's the one where she like flips out and like starts fighting for real. And then everyone gets mad at her. She's like, "What? That's how I train, for real." And like the only other person that wants to train like that is Shatterstar. I gotta admit, I do not like her hair. how it's just that big triangle. The sideburns were pretty interesting actually, because I don't know, he made it like cool. Like there was a lot of what George Bergman calls that line of beauty, you know, like that those S lines. My S lines aren't as cool, but that's what it seemed like Rob Liefeld had, was a bunch of these like line of beauties for the, which is ironic because you wouldn't think that give it a girl sideburns. I think it works out in this case because she is I don't know what she is, like a werewolf or something. I don't know much about her. But I thought he made the sideburns look pretty cool. Like I think her ear would be placed differently. I don't even worry about the ear. I'll draw the hair. I'll just, like I said, I don't want to draw that Dorito chip hair. So I'll just draw the hair shooting back like a big fan is like pointed right at her. Really, I think of what I'm doing is that Travis Charest style hair. He's one of the artists that I really like to like look at for reference for hair. Liefeld, I really like how he does poses. Like even now, when I was looking at some of his deluxe, Youngblood deluxe reviews, people making videos of him, and like to me, he still got it for posing and like that, how he makes the faces look interesting. I watched a couple videos where they were complaining about how he's not doing backgrounds. That cracked me up. But yeah, that's, I guess, I don't know, like as a comic book fan, and like the number one thing for me that I look for is art that like I'll forgive like a lot just because of that. And then I know I guess I'm not, I don't know, but maybe I'm not like a hardcore comic book fan because I don't always read the stories either. I do read a lot also, but there's also a lot that I do not. And no knock on Liefeld, I don't read a lot of his comics. Like I said, this X-Force comic, all the comics collected, I have read a few issues when I was a kid, but the main thing, even now, like I just like looking at them because they're amazing. I'm sure I'll read them eventually. Okay, so I think I got the hair like how I like it. And then draw her teeth. I think she had sharp teeth also. I mean, she's got to, right? Because she's got claws as she looks like a werewolf. I'll give her one sharp tooth. Like I said, this is a 0.9, so it's just not the best for these little details. Oh, the last comic that I read recently was some Spawn comics, and draw her tongue kind of pulled back a little and then darken underneath. know you're not supposed to put too many lines on girls' faces, or anybody's face, unless you want to like age quicker or look super gritty. I think that works though. I'll just indicate like, maybe don't. But it feels like I gotta put that there because she's snarling her nose while making this angry face. All right, and then I remember he had like a shadow down here. So I'm trying to follow so there would be like some muscle coming out. And then here would be the quads. So I'll pull that muscle back a little bit. Oh, and another comic that I read recently was that Alan Moore's run on Wildcats, which was pretty entertaining to me anyway. Yeah, I didn't really ever read Wildcats before either. I didn't even get their comics until recently, really, because I knew about the cartoon and I knew that it was a comic because when I was younger, we did have Wizard magazine to keep up on all that stuff. Slightly keep up, to know about it anyway, I guess. But we couldn't keep up regular because our grocery store only had a spinner rack, but it was only Marvel and DC stuff. I'll just go into blacken this part out. And then very rarely we'd be able to go to like a city, like, you know, that's like a few hours away that had a comic shop. And then when I did that, I was able to get some a Pit comic, and yeah, I think that's all I spent my money on. I didn't really have, I mean, when you're a kid, you don't have like a whole lot of money. And I guess I wasn't as industrious as other kids that would make lemonade stands or go door to door asking to mow lawns. Nah, he didn't. I don't want to do hatching up there. I'll just make this extra dark because I feel like if the light is coming this way, then there should be some shadow right here. So yeah, this is these like little decisions that slow me down quite a bit. I'm working on a comic. If you watch any of my other videos, you've seen that I did a comic book called Occult Descent. I did the volume 1 that wrapped up on Kickstarter, and I'm on page 9 for volume 2 now. I finished writing the script. I got an editor, going to be getting a colorist and a letterer eventually. I just need to get a little bit farther. But yeah, so that should help out a lot more to make it, I don't know, make it look more visually better and to come out quicker. But this is basically how I draw when I'm working on my comic. I'm not that fast, and then like I notice a thing or two here and there, and then I go back and I erase it and correct it to how I think it should look. And I do that a lot. Like sometimes I think the page is done completely, and then I'll come back, look at it a couple days later, and just start redrawing things. Let's see. Maybe I'll just I'll do that old. Well, I mostly see 90s comics in the 90s do this. At an awkward angle too. That's why my arm probably looks a little weird on the paper. So yeah, do that. Make it look like it's so it's going back in space, and man, excuse me. The foot was passable to me, but now it's getting on my nerves. Okay, let's make it a little bit smaller. And now her toes are going this way. Her crazy claw toes. Looks like I'm making some kind of weird, I don't know, some kind of weird optical illusion right here. I know there's tendons, or what are they, phalanges, metatarsals. Yeah, I think they're metatarsals right there. So I'll just go in and over render it, and hopefully it looks cool. I don't know, it doesn't. Okay, so that's gonna bother me. Son of a... Sorry if this is painful to watch, me trying to figure out how to draw a heel or a foot in perspective. Okay, whatever, I'll take it. Let's see, and then sharpen up this hand a bit, or I'll just black it out underneath here. Getting lost of that finger, it's confusing me. I think the good thing is this hand, their fingers are so small that doesn't really stand out to me as much. All right, and I might have made her torso a little bit wider than I should have. When I was watching, there's a few videos of Rob Liefeld doing some drawings, and he does these poses. It makes it look, pretty quick. Or you're under the illusion that unless he's just hand picking out poses that he knows he can get done quickly. But I'm under the assumption that he just looks at these pictures, pulls out the pose, no problem. Where it's like I'm trying to do one of his poses, and there is a problem. Like a bunch of little tiny problems. Should I make the... Okay. I think I'm almost done, but I just want to like make sure that I got this like in perspective anyway, like it doesn't look too awkward when you're looking at the whole picture. This part is bothering me. Maybe I won't even hatch on it. Yeah, I guess make it look like she's surfing on a tree branch or a log. Okay, this is... I don't know if I'm making this look believable that she's like a form above a log. Yeesh. So there'd have to be like a divot in this log right there too for her heel to catch on to. All right, last thing. Straighten out that mouth because it looks a little lopsided. Now she has a big tooth. So anyway, yeah, I think you'd probably picked up by now that like I could noodle on this like for quite a long time. But I'll just call it done for now and then see how close I came to the drawing. Oh, come on, hang in. Yeah, yeah, so she flipped out and then she like ends up hurting Cannonball, like for real. But anyway, all right, there it is. That's kind of close. Maybe I should do more shadow under here to make it look like she's actually there, because the shadow is over here. I didn't pay attention the first time, so the light must be coming that way on her. But for this one, I got the light coming this way at her, so it would be like just a quick, not a cast shadow really, but because there'd be like light bouncing around, I think, because she's a little bit farther. It's not as close as these ones, which maybe, yeah, maybe there would be more bounced light on the bottom of these. Okay, don't worry. I won't torture you anymore with me trying to figure out how to do a shadow. All right, thanks for watching if you made it through this whole thing.